All right. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting time with Urban Birds and Bees. How's everybody doing out there? This is Dr. Kerry Neal, the one and only Urban Birds and Bees. We talk about relationships and everything that could hinder an amazing connection and relationship in our community. And it's an absolute pleasure because today we have the one and only Michael Ferrera. So Michael Ferrera, you guys know Michael Ferrera. You guys know Mike. What's up with you, Mike? How you doing, bro? How you
Man,
doing?
I'm doing fantastic, and I'm doing even better now that I'm right here with you. So I appreciate you having me.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. And if Mike is on here, we're gonna be talking clothes. But you guys may not have known, but he's got an exceptional background also as a financial planner. We're gonna talk a little bit more about that. But what we're gonna be doing is because this is late in the year, we're getting close to the holidays, and we are talking about dress to be desired. So this is kind of like a men's edition, a special. Elevating men's style in 2026. So he's going to share with you some tips, men, that you can do out there. And ladies, if you're watching, things that you can do to help your man out, or some of your friends that seem like just having some bad luck, that might give you some tips. But he'll also talk about the interesting intersection of being well dressed, what that looks like, and also make sure that your money is right. So, without further ado, big round of applause for Michael Ferrera.
And I so appreciate that introduction, man. As I mentioned earlier briefly, it's just a pleasure to be here and support you and seeing the work that you do and your consistency and discipline. So thank you for having me. I'm sure we're gonna have a great discussion today.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. Okay, so let's just dive right in. Let's not waste any more time with this. So, I got a few questions I want to ask you, man, because I mean we just got a little time, so we'll make sure that we get to it. So obviously, bro, I've known you for a number of years, a little bit over like 10, 15 years, something like that, right?
That's right.
And bro, you are always dressed to a T. And I've been pleasure. It's been a pleasure to also be a client of yours as well. In
Yeah.
times past, when I get my money right, I'll be
Yes.
getting some more suits from you
You're,
because
you're, you're already there. I know you're already there.
I'm already there, right? Okay, okay. So
Really is.
let's just make it happen, right?
That's right.
Okay. But I was very interested to discover that you're also a financial planner and
Yeah.
things like that. So that's kind of cool. So
Yeah.
um, So do me a favor, talk about the intersection of dressing well and having your paper straight. Why
Yeah.
why is that important for me, particularly for men? Talk
Yeah.
about that.
And touching on that hybrid, right? A lot of times, right, finance and fashion often necessarily don't mesh in like a cohesive, right? That makes sense. And incorporating the left brain and the right brain, the creative side and the foundational side, and it sounds like a interesting and unique combination. And I'm aware that I have that. And many people don't know. I technically have been doing the investment advisory and the financial side a little bit longer, but frankly, that's what evolved into the fashion space and allowing me to focus on my design aspect, going to design school, studying the craft of designing and creating and putting extraordinary colors and patterns together. I really studied that in addition to my background in business economics. But I share that to say the crossroads from the financial side and the imagery and fashion side, it it shows a person's attention to detail, right? It's so important to
Mm.
know that if a person is taking their time to, to dress appropriately, present themselves properly, I share with people that you're always communicating, even when you're not talking.
You're always communicating, bruh. Say it loud for the people in the back. You always communicate.
You're always communicating, even when you're not talking. And how are we communicating with our body language, the things that we wear, the way that we carry ourselves, the way that we interact, the way that we shake hands, the way that we smile, the way that we laugh, the way that we all those things are forms of communication. And
Yeah.
so is wardrobe, right? Attire and style. And it's not about simply with the intention of outperforming or dressing for the purpose I'm better than you or less than and I'm better. It's not that at all. But what it is a way to present yourself in an environment that allows people to want to engage with you. And that's not only in business, but that's also in social environments. You with me?
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. Look, share with me and share with the audience as well. So, I mean, again, we already knew that you, the Mr. Dapper on every way forward fashion. That we know you had that going on. So, where did your prowess with financial planning come in? And how did that come about?
Yeah.
And so, for talk to us a little bit about that. I'm personally curious to know, more about that.
Yeah. The interesting part about that is the financial component was first.
Oh,
The
interesting.
component was first, right?
Wow.
I studied business econ at UC Riverside.
UC
Still
Riverside,
great
yeah.
connection.
Highlanders in the
That's right.
house.
Great connection. Still associated with the university. Lifetime member Alumni Association. Continue to
Nice.
give back in a variety of ways that I can. And the economic portion was first. And what happened is while I was studying in school, in my economic background, I knew that fashion and style was also a component that I love, but I was very intentional on, studying, getting a degree and background in finance. I believe that financial components of our lives are really foundational, right? The cool factors come with fashion and style and shoes and accessories and all the other things. That's the cool and fresh, hip, and exciting things that people often want to talk about. But quite
Hmm.
frankly, the foundational stuff is really the money, right?
Yeah.
I believe once the money component is in order, it allows for everything to, cohesively work together in a seamless way. And just the opposite, when the fashion and the style and the dress and the appropriate components are in place, it just creates this beautiful intentional cycle of I dress
Mm.
well, so I attract more of what I desire in life. I position myself well in presentation and care and style that attracts the more revenue and finances that I desire. And simultaneously, once those desirable financing and the financial acumen is achieved, what does it do? It simultaneously allows you to dress more appropriately or even nicer and better. And now you're just in this beautiful cycle of presenting yourself in the proper way that you would like to be perceived while bringing in the revenue and the resources that you desire to achieve. And you just continue to repeat that cycle, which is why it's such a beautiful synergy between fashion and finance, right?
Mm.
The finance part is cohesive in the aspect of we're not we're not appropriately putting fashion or style to outperform the financial portion. They're both working together because as you present yourself in a proper way, people want to talk to you. And once people
Mm.
want to talk to you, now you get to share your value, your input, that how you can be resourceful to them and how you can bring, additional revenue or additional guidance to help them elevate their life. And now they're doing the same for you. And again, continuing that cycle.
Yeah. So picking off and just expanding a little bit, do you feel as though that a man's appearance is somehow is a reflection of his ability to plan, manage money, and be disciplined as well? Or
Yeah,
is it just
that's
two
a
different
great question.
worlds?
I love that question. I love that question. And I will say it's not necessarily directly in the planning side because I say all things can be learned, right? All things can be learned because
Hmm.
even us as children, we're just born into this world as is, nothing more,
Hmm.
right? From the things we believe in, from the way that we talk, from the way that we dress, from the way that we carry ourselves and interact with people, everything is taught to us. And simultaneously, things can be unlearned and relearned, right?
Exactly.
So the planning part of how fashion or style directly relates to how someone may, may prepare financially or carry over, it's an interesting question because probably not directly, because you can always learn how to
Right.
dress better and position yourself better, and you can also learn how to manage money better and financially plan better,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So these things are learned. However, what I will say, the synergy and the cohesiveness that happens is when a person takes the financial side as an additive. When you focus on the fashion and the style and the preparedness, it shows how you carry yourself in other areas of your life. I have a
Mm.
great statement that was told to me by a great mentor a long time ago, and it rings to me to this day. How you do one thing is how you do everything,
Oh, yeah. Say
right?
that.
Right. So, and how you do anything is how you do everything, right? So if you're that person that's, always showing up late to the party and then always late to the meeting and then always, that's probably how you always show up,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
if you're also that person that is always meticulous with the way that the tie is positioned, always meticulous with the way the shoes are signed, always meticulous with the proper cufflinks with sunglasses and all the above, that also carries over to where, hey, again, the communicating without communicating or using words.
Yeah.
This person takes the time to deliberately look in the mirror, have the appearance proper, decent, in order, then they probably do the same thing with their eating and health. You know
Mm.
what? If they take the time to be properly dressed for the environment, then they probably also take the time to be properly managing their office and their organizing and their finances and their meetings and everything else. So again, that communication. If you're a person that shows up sloppy, looks sloppy, I just showed up because I barely made it. You know what? Right? You know what? That's probably also carrying over to maybe how you manage the money side, maybe
Yeah.
how you manage your office supplies, maybe how it manages your organization in your briefcase or your suitcase or backpack,
Hmm.
right? All of those things carry over. How we do one thing is how we do everything.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that this, man, this is some good conversation because I'm certain that, and I wouldn't even necessarily put that in the same place. You're making some great observation. Now, here's one thing I would say, right? I think, as a matter of fact, we go to our next category, of course, talking about black men perception and credibility. Um, it is my perception, you may think the same thing as well, that black men oftentimes are judged probably more harshly, particularly when it comes to their appearance and financial literacy. I just saw something where Keyshawn Johnson, former football player, he's in New York and he lives in a very well-to-do area. And he went to go pick up food at this restaurant, right? And it was funny. He was just kind of dressed down in the whole bit. Some people might recognize him because he's a celebrity. But this particular place, he just kind of went, had a hat on to pick up his food. The lady at the store said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Are you the DoorDash pickup person?" So I was just thinking like how oftentimes as black people, when we're just suited and booted, that a lot of times we're just sort of judged and we can't really dress down. So I'm curious. So why do you think black people, black men in particular, are often judged harshly on their appearance and particularly, and how that rolls over to like to your point about how they handle their money as well. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I understand the question, and I'll answer it in two parts. In two parts, because even though this may be tough to hear, and and I hear some of the artists that once you hear this, you'll have an eye opening moment,
Okay.
and and maybe even for yourself. The two part why I need to answer it in two parts is first, everyone judges. We
Right.
all do it.
Yeah.
It's literally part of our psychology,
Of
right?
course we do.
We all we all judge, right? We
Right.
all judge, whether it's black, Asian, African American, Latin American, whatever. Everyone's judging all the time.
Right.
Not even out of desire. It's
Yeah.
simply just habit.
Yeah.
It's ingrained in our psychology in our mind. Like we're designed to do it. It's literally uncontrollable.
Hmm.
I should say it this way, you can control it, but by habit and nature, we're designed to judge. When we look at an environment and walk into an environment, our bodies are naturally designed to say, is this an appropriate environment? Am I safe? Should I be here? And
Right.
based on those situations, you decide accordingly. Simultaneously, when we see someone, we say, is this a person that I want to engage with? Do I like him? Should I talk or should I be alert? Right? We
Right.
all do it no matter what. It's just now important to like how we can, curb that excitement and curb that judgment to make sure that we're operating in the most efficient manner. The second part of that question, as it relates to when it comes to minorities and especially brothers like us as black men, I believe it really, I do believe it's a true statement, but it's partly because from again history and trajectory,
Yeah.
right? Unfortunately, society and traditional economies have literally positioned individuals to perceived in a certain way, right? It's again the training and the judgment that societies and economies can control. And that's a separate conversation for a separate day, because that's a whole economic conversation that I can carry on by itself that has nothing to do with the fashion component. But to answer your question, it is the perception that is already painted in the eyes of the society.
Yeah.
With me. And therefore, we as black men, in my opinion, and for many environments, right, may have to do more, may have to go be above and beyond, may have to go outside the boundary. And what a different person or other communities may need to do may be different from a brother, right?
Yeah.
And for African American man, for a black man. And
Yeah.
so it's so important for us to be aware of that and to, yes, stand firm on our beliefs and our philosophies, but simultaneously know how can I communicate to the environment that I'm a person that's worthy being here. And then when I am there, making sure that I live way above the expectation. So
Yeah.
what this does, this is like what this does now separately is now we can now curate and change the perception that is already built by traditional societies, right? From times that before my era and even my parents' era, maybe even our grandparents, right? So maybe our grandparents and great grandparents' time, for some of the challenges and civil rights movements that they went through in order to position us into the environments that where we are today, right? How can we now change that perception?
Yeah.
Because if we show up above and beyond, deliver above and beyond, then guess what? We're sending the message that hey, we are above and beyond.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
And,
No.
and, and now, although that the original perception may be one way, if we deliver at a high level and show up that we are at levels of other individuals and even better, that
Mm.
now curates it. That curates the perception for future generations, right? So the delivery that I may be giving in my attire, my perception, my demeanor, my delivery, vocabulary, speech, and all of the above, it's not only for me, but it's for the future generations that come after us that we can control the destination and perception that's have for our people.
Man, that's some great. Wow, you broke that down, bro. I love it. I love it. You guys are watching. We're talking about Dress to Be Desired. We're here with Michael Ferrera, clothier and financial expert and planner. And he's breaking it up with some knowledge, looking at this intersection of what it means to dress well and manage your money as well. Let's talk a little bit further, really quickly. I want to get to some dating stuff too, right? So I think that would be kind of funny, kind of fun. But let's talk about something a little bit more serious. So you're talking about, in terms of being perceived a certain way, particularly as black men. So is it your estimation as well that oftentimes, particularly if you like in a public leadership role and things like that, that the way you dress also can often drive whether a person trusts you or you're credible or you're capable? Talk about that as well.
Yeah, I like that question. And what I like about that question is you say I like that you use the word credible because I'll touch on that. And I truly believe that when you're wearing clothes or putting on clothes, I like to remind people, and including clients when I dress them, if I throw clothes on the bed or on the table, right, they are just garments. They are just pieces of fabric. They are just clothes, right? So although the clothes play a role above and beyond the actual clothes could look great on a hanger. Clothes could look great on a bed. But what really makes the clothes come alive is the personality, charisma, and character of the person. So, in my opinion, far beyond the actual clothes itself, I think the most important part of clothes is not necessarily the fashion, the style, the dress, the brands, all the above. I think that's the least component. What's the most important is the organization,
Ah,
the cleanliness, right? The neatness, right? The appropriateness for the environment, right? Those are far more important than that dude had on a cool jacket, or that dude had on like the best shoes I ever seen, or he had a X blah 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 brand, and did you see his this whatever shoes, right? Those things play a role and those are a part that those are personalities and the things that you may choose. But
right.
what's much more important when it comes to the clothing, right, is that you took the time to be organized. Shirt was tucked in, tie is tied straight, right? Cufflinks are on appropriately if needed, right? Tie is tied properly. And even on a casual sense, I do not believe that we all should wear suits or need to wear suits or suit jackets and ties and dress shoes even in this environment. But it comes down to every piece, right? If and when you are wearing that t-shirt, is that t-shirt clean? Is
Yeah.
that t-shirt ironed? Is that t-shirt appropriate for the environment?
So you just talking about just basic stuff, not even really having a fashion sense, just like
Yeah,
duh,
it's far more
fundamental.
important,
Yeah, yeah,
right? The cleanliness, the neatness, the organized is far more important than the cool, the fresh, and the swanky, right?
mhm.
Because the cool and the sweat and all the extra stuff, that is just add value. When you combine them all of being neat, organized, and then having the appropriate color, tie, style, and design, that's when you're winning at a higher level, right?
Mm,
Because if you have whatever fancy name brand that you think is luxury or fashionable or elite, if you have that item on and it's not appropriate for the environment, how cool is that actual item,
yeah,
right? Or if
yeah,
you have the best logo or company or brand that you're wearing and it's dirty and flimsy and unorganized, how good is that really, right?
right, right.
I would rather engage. So in answering your question, I would rather engage with somebody that is properly in order, properly neat, properly organized, rather than someone that has a whole bunch of fancy logos on their chest and their sunglasses and shoes and pants,
Right, right, right,
right? Because now again, back to what we talked about earlier, that carries over. That
right.
carries over. This person is organized. This person is neat. They probably might be neat and organized when it comes to their office and work environment and their timeliness and their money, right?
Mm.
That's the communication that you're communicating. You're talking even when you're not using words.
Oh, dude. Oh man,
So, so,
interesting.
so, it's so important to understand that it may not just be the fashion and the style. When the style component comes in, when the actual proper colors comes in, that's when you take it to another level, and you have that beautiful mesh of neat, organized, structured, proper, with cool style, fresh and flair. And then when you add on top of that, when you literally deliver with character, right? Because the way we carry ourselves, again, if clothes are just on the table or on a bed, they can look cool, but the
Hmm.
way you carry yourself, if you put those garments on or clothes on and you walk with confidence, you carry yourself with the proper stature, you shake
Hmm.
hands confidently, you speak confidently, you speak boldly, that enhances the wardrobe, right? Because clothes are just clothes, they're just fabrics until
Yeah,
the person puts them on. When the person puts them on with the proper character, the proper charisma, the proper communication, the proper ability to engage and navigate through rooms with confidence, standing tall, right posture, that's when you're winning at a high level. And,
yeah.
and then level number four, when you actually engage in the financial matters, the business matters, the transaction matters, and you now deliver results, and then even at
Mm.
a high level, oh, now we're operating at optimal,
Yeah.
right? And then carrying us over with some of the future conversations that we'll have today. Now I become attractive to the opposite sex,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
And even more importantly, now I come attractive to the partner or the relationship that I desire, right?
Yeah.
So that's the cohesiveness that you have from wardrobe to finance and personality and charm and all the above.
So okay, all right. So now, first of all, that was brilliant, right? But Mike, come on, let's just be honest, bro. See, every time I see you, you
Mhm.
look like you and spend like $5,000 in your work. That may not be the case, but you just look like $1 million every time you
Appreciate
see, right?
that.
So here's the thing, right? There are some men who may conflate looking great and maybe they've done a good job in terms of their outward appearance, but it's not really a reflection of their financial reality, right? So how can a man achieve these goals without overspending or doing something super extreme? And particularly, we're talking about, he's trying to holler at some babe and whatever else, or
Mhm.
someone he's trying to get with. He feel like he's got to
Yeah,
level up, blah blah blah.
yeah.
Speak to that.
Yeah, and I appreciate those kind words, and quite frankly, man, sometimes it is right. I invest in my wardrobe.
So you ain't
Sometimes,
lying.
and sometimes that's the case, right? Because I
Right, right.
know the importance importance of investing. When I acquire clothes and I add things to my wardrobe as a
You like
designer,
sometimes I do ball
right?
out. What? So what?
Sometimes you
What?
do, right? Because it's strategic, right? Because it's intentional, and I'm very intentional with my wardrobe. And even when it's not the case, and I'm operating in a more traditional suit or a jacket or even sneakers and t-shirts, right? I'm just very intentional to know like how these pieces play a role in the overall wardrobe. It's not just buying this cool brand name t-shirt and saying I have one, right? It's how does that brand name t-shirt align with the denim that you have and the shoes that you have and the jackets that you can pair it with to have a perfect dress casual environment, right? So although when we're adding to these wardrobe, it's important about being intentional, right? It's not spending money for spending money's sake. It's so important to be conscious that when we're investing in clothes, and I like to say it that way, when we're investing in clothes, not just buying stuff.
Right.
Right? When you're investing in clothes, it's important to think about how this piece that you're adding incorporates with the other things that you already have or the other things
Mm,
that you are going to buy or add to your wardrobe, right? It's not just buying a t-shirt for t-shirt's sake, right? It's about buying this t-shirt or a dress shirt or tie because you know what? If I do buy this shirt, I can accommodate with this jeans, this suit, this tie, and those are three different outfits that I have with that one shirt.
You know, that's a good point because I will go shopping and
Yeah,
I will get something and it's for the moment. So, wow, this goes well with this, blah, blah, blah. And I
that's
don't think about how it expands. Now, that's more on the back end. And if I'm lucky, it really does.
yeah.
But no, that's a great point.
So that's how you add to the wardrobe without breaking the bank, right? It's thinking
Ah,
about it's thinking about if I do buy, and I'll use a drastic example. Even if I do buy this $250 shirt, how can I use that $250 shirt to accomplish a casual look, a dress look, a
mhm,
tuxedo look, or whatever it may be, right? I'm just using an example. But
right.
if that one shirt that technically may be expensive, if it accomplishes more than one goal, how expensive is it, right? Or if you're going to buy this item that may be quote unquote expensive or pricey, and it may last for 8 or 10 years, how expensive is it, right?
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
take that number that I spent on that item and I divide it by the number of years that it's probably going to last, that might be worth maybe, $200 a year, right? Even if you take the example of the 5,000 or $7,000 suit, if that 5,000 or $7,000 suit lasts you for 5 or 6 years, maybe longer, I don't know if that's that expensive.
Yeah.
Because now we're investing in your wardrobe, not just buying things.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting, bro.
that's
Dude, you
that's how
just
you
put
got
your
to do
giggles
it.
and
And,
stuff.
and I would encourage men and even ladies as well that are buying for men and even ladies that are buying for themselves. Right? It's not about just buying pieces because I need a piece. Yes, there are times where that happens.
Right.
Right? How can I invest in this piece to say, rather than me just buy the cheap and the cheerful, how can I buy the appropriate piece that might last me sometimes a lifetime? Right? Because
Mhm.
some of those pieces that may be very pricey in my wardrobe, that piece is probably going to be with me forever. Right?
Yeah.
A cashmere trench coat, that's a 12, 13, 14 year piece. Right? That's not something that needs
Mm,
to be replaced every year. Same thing if you're a person that's going to special events, and we've had the opportunity to engage on some high level luxury events in our time together, right? If you're a person that's going to galas, going to dinners, going to high level corporate events, maybe
mhm.
you should own a great tuxedo,
Yeah.
right? And if you own that tuxedo, I don't know how expensive that is if you're regularly using it,
Right.
right? Because that's a piece that you could own a tuxedo forever. I can tell a short story here.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I get married, I'm always in suits, right? So I had to do something very special for my now spouse, who's amazing and extraordinary. So I couldn't
Yeah.
just show up with a tuxedo. It would just be too mundane. Oh, I've seen him in a tuxedo already. Good luck. Nothing new, right? I seen him in a suit. I always see him in a suit. Who cares, right? So
Mhm.
it's so important to like when those moments happen to create something special, something very unique. And one of the unique things that I was able to do was because I'm a designer, we have the privilege of curating a story, right? So we're able to tell stories, and we see like this lapel here with this pink handle thread, like
Right.
very small details. And
Right.
specifically for my wife, what I did is created a story on the inside of my jacket, of my tuxedo jacket, and all the pictures and a variety of pictures that stood out during our dating relationship, leading us to marriage, and where we celebrate 9 years now. Like, was able to print pictures on that silk, right? And be able to put
Oh,
that on the inside of
wow.
the jacket. So when I open up the jacket, she's able to see the story and the journey that we
Dude,
had,
that's a
right?
great idea.
Right.
Dude,
So that
brilliant.
makes it special, right? And
Yeah.
I say that to say investing in wardrobe is, even to this day, one of the challenges that I have for myself, and I'm grateful that I'm able to do it. And I encourage men and women to be to whatever standard that they have, is I have a goal in life that that I will always, even to this day, right, always have that tuxedo to be able to fit, right, from the day I was married. And I'm very happy to say that we're on track, man.
Oh,
And
that's what's up.
even to this day, right? That tuxedo still fits to this day, pants and jacket. So in investing in that piece, I'm able to use a different tuxedo pants with a different tuxedo jacket and
Mm.
mix and match the jacket with a special event, right? So that's when investing in a piece now makes sense. You're not just buying clothes for the sake of buying clothes, but you're buying clothes and investing in your wardrobe that's going to allow you to live an extraordinary life.
No, that's nice. So, okay, so that's brilliant. And congratulations on 9 years, going on 10. It's a beautiful thing.
Mhm.
So let's talk about love for a second, particularly as it pertains to this whole idea of being dressing well, looking well, things like that. So now I know this is probably more appropriate to ask a woman, but I'm certain you had many conversations with many women over
Mhm.
the years in terms of what they need to do for their man and what they should do in terms of what outfit and what might work well, right? So, what is your perception and or what guidance would you give men? Um, well, no. Let me go there. So when a man dresses well or not dresses well, what does that subtly convey to a woman, particularly a woman that a guy may be interested in? So we talk about in terms of the impact in the workplace and other places like that, but let's just talk
Yeah.
about the spirit. He sees a woman
Yeah.
and he's trying to impress or want to be impressive. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I'll answer both sides, right? For a man that dresses well and the man that may not. And starting from the latter, in a person or a man that may not dress well or may have challenges in that area or may not know the appropriate things, back to the communicating without using words, right? You may be saying to that person that, I may not be ready. And not only from the financial component, but probably your confidence moment. Naturally, women, we know this, right? This is science and data. Like, they are attracted to the person that's extra, that's confident, right? The person
Mm.
that's sure in themselves, right?
So
They
the way you
where
dress
they are. Yeah,
also gives a sense of confidence as well.
that's right,
Interesting.
without a
Okay.
doubt, right? And the man that may not have those aspects, again, it can be learned. That's important to remember.
Right.
But the man that may not have those aspects, they may be communicating to a lady or someone that they're interested in. I may not be as confident as you may want, right? I may
Mm.
not be that person that you're looking for. So you can even be strategic in your wardrobe, right? If you're using wardrobe, knowing that internally you may not be as confident, you can use clothing and wardrobe to enhance that confidence, right? To improve that confidence and give that perception to where you can continually build, right? Because it's a great concept that I reference all the time, right? The compound effect, and being able to use what you've done to build on other great things that continues to build on other great things and continues to build on. So you can communicate to yourself by wearing the proper attire, dressing well, consulting with someone that can assist you and help you, even if it's just asking questions, right?
Mhm.
You can now use that as a resource to compound on your confidence, right? Maybe you can
Mm.
dress appropriately, that will give you more confidence. And now you become more attractive to that person that you may be interested in, right? And although it may not fully be there, you will compound on it the more you continue to do it. So the more you continue to dress
Mm.
well, the more confidence you build on yourself. That will
Yeah.
allow you to want to dress well more and will allow you to continue to compound on the confidence that eventually allows the confidence to be truly internal, right? And it's not just an outward appearance,
Right.
right? right? Just the opposite, the person that already has that capability, that has that proper style, that has that proper fashion sense, they're now in a position to use that in their advantage and to their advantage to speak to that person, speak to that woman, that lady, and say, all right, I'll be very casual here. You know what it is, right? Yeah, right. You know what it is, right?
Right.
Because you walk into that room with the confidence, you own the room, you know that space, and you're able to say, I respectfully see you see me, and I see you too. Let's
Right.
make that connection. Let's go to a higher level. We know what it is,
Yeah.
right? And now
Yeah.
you can carry on to a higher level. And when you position yourself, when you have that ability to dress appropriately and have that style, oh man, now you're able to win and attract that person. You're communicating to that lady. You're communicating to that woman and saying, right, I'm a person that you probably desire and want to learn more about. You know.
Yeah, yeah, that's bruh. I mean, you said that, and I hope folks like are listening to this. Look, Mike is like dropping some gems here,
Yeah,
so you
appreciate
guys
that.
better tune in. And obviously, Mike, you can also you're available for a consultation. I'm certain as well.
Yeah, and we love to do that, right? Many times, and I share with individuals, sometimes individuals get, whether that's men or women, they may seem intimidated of custom. Just say that, I specialize in bespoke clothing, right? So made to order. We do have a store, we have a location in Beverly Hills, and
Hold on,
it's
but
made
explain
to order. Yeah.
what is bespoke clothing? So
Yeah,
people
great, right. So bespoke, it's actually a more popular European word, but meaning custom made, right? Made to order, right?
ah,
Everything down to the detail of the button that you choose for that jacket, the thread that you choose for that coat, the number of buttonholes, the lapel style. That's bespoke. Bespoke is a word used where you're choosing every piece of component that's related to the construction of that item, right? So
interesting.
so that's where we specialize in. And I say that and preface it to say that many times individuals often seem may be intimidated by that word or the concept of having a custom clothes or custom suit because in original age and in older times, yeah, custom clothing and bespoke were drastically expensive, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you were seeing it's a unique like bell shaped curve, right? Because in the early modern society, that was the norm, right? You didn't go to a store, pick up a suit, and leave. You had to, go to a tailoring shop. Men and women had to go to seamstress or a tailor, and what happens? They would have fabrics or options, and you would put a note on it, right, on that fabric that would have bespoke, right, on that fabric. And so when other people would be coming in looking for their wardrobe, that fabric has already been spoken for, right? So it's been
Mm.
spoke, right? I've already spoken for this fabric. So although you may like that fabric,
Oh,
it's no longer available because it has already been spoken for, right?
dude,
So
so that's where that comes
therefore,
from.
so
Interesting.
so in this bell-shaped curve, right, that was more of the traditional modern society, right? The,
Mhm.
the the great Gatsby's of the time, right? The Gilded Age that we see on television right now.
Right, right,
That
right.
was all we spoke. That was the normal. It was the normal. You buy a suit, you buy a wardrobe, you buy a dress. You need to speak for your fabric. I be spoken for that fabric that I have here. And then what happens over time trajectory? How can we make this simple? How can I walk in the store, buy a suit
Mhm.
size 42 large, 41 large, and then leave the store, right? That's the more of the norm. And now in today's society where we are now, that custom and bespoke process is becoming more of the norm because it's now more accessible, right? And reasonable. So I say that to say sometimes people are intimidated by, that's not for me, that's for ultra wealthy people. And quite frankly, sometimes, but not always, right? The custom clothing may be more in your reach than you may think. And I say that to say, even as a custom clothing designer, right, in a bespoke industry, uh, we invite conversation. Sometimes individuals, contact us, and if we can provide value, and we incorporate a lot of AI technology now. So even on our web, when you go to our web, you can engage. Hey, I'm thinking about going to this event. The AI, like right there. So we've curated it. It's me. It's an AI version of me, where we talk about fashion, we talk about style, we talk about things that you literally can get insight directly from me as an advisor in the fashion space, right? Ideas for dates, Valentine's Day, Christmas, holidays, directly from me because we've curated the AI system, right?
Mhm.
Without having to necessarily hey, pay a $5,000 ticket, right? Or a $2,000 ticket or whatever the number may be. So we invite questions. We want those questions. And to the point where we have consultation on our web. So when someone, hey, Michael, I've got a concern. Could I wear this? We answer those questions and give value and lead, because we want to provide as much value to people as we can. Because I truly believe the more we give, the more we provide value to the world, regardless of that value comes back to us directly from that person monetarily by giving, it automatically opens up the doors, and that automatically opens other opportunities for someone else to give in return in exchange, right? So I love giving. I love providing value. I love providing insight. Even if that person is not directly compensating, it automatically opens other opportunities for resources and revenue to come to me. And that's just how I believe.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Just real quick question. So how long does it take to um get like somebody
Yeah,
wants to
from
order
beginning
outfit
to
and stuff
end,
out?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How does that
beginning to
take?
end, evaluation, looking at the fabric, and Michael actually designed it and we created it, manufacturing, all the shipping and stuff. Yeah, usually that time frame is about, a 21 to 35-day process. And the reason being
It's
is
about a
that,
month's time.
yeah, the reason being is we literally manufacture a pattern. Like we take body measurements and make it
Hmm.
perfectly individual for that person. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's awesome. Okay,
Does
so
that
we're gonna.
does that answer your question? Right.
No, it does. It was.
It's a
It,
very fun process, and outside of the timeline, along the journey, like seeing everything come to life, it's very very enjoyable.
Yeah, because my reason why I ask it, because I mean, I didn't really know, but I would assume that anyone that's
Yeah.
listening, if they're considering going bespoke, going a custom design suit, outfit, whatever the case may be, they probably want to get a sense of, well, if I got to
Of
go
the
to the
time
event
frame.
in January,
Yeah, wedding
when,
coming up,
yeah,
engagement coming up, special
yeah,
event coming up.
yeah.
Yeah, and I will say we can do things in a rush. It's not really our favorite. Not tailors. My tailors have been working with me for 15, 16 years at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and and we can't do it right. We've been in a situation where we had emergency, usually for existing clients where forgot to do it, et cetera. So we can do it in a very fast time frame. At the very least, somewhere around the line of 10 to 14 days. My tailors yell at me and they say, Michael, blah, 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 right? And we have a fun conversation and we laugh
Yeah,
about it.
I'm
So we
sure. I'm
can do it, but ideally, that's the time frame. That 30-day window is really ideal.
I'm sure there's a rush price associated with it,
And
right?
there is, and we want to make sure that individuals are respecting our time, and I'm respecting my tailor's time. And yes, there is, and
Yeah.
we want to make sure we honor that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so last question, right? And we kind of talked about this if it was perfect for the show,
Yes,
which I
sir.
think this is a very interesting question. It says, "How does a man's style communicate? Excuse me. What does a man's style communicate about his stability,
Mhm.
priorities, and maturity before financial conversations ever occur?"
Mm, man, that's a separate podcast in itself. Maybe we can do it. All right, depending
Right?
on depending on how the audience and you would like to engage with, maybe we can have a whole session just on that. But to
Yeah.
answer the question, and I think our delivery, our personality, the character that we have as person in the wardrobe that we wear is a way that we communicate to other people and individuals that we're interested in, whether that's business or a social environment. We're communicating, right? We're communicating even when we're not talking. And what that says is that you're a person that'll pay attention to detail. Because I do believe, right? Everyone has challenges in life. Things change, right? And things may happen, whether that's jobs or works or career. But I can say that the individual that, and the man specifically, that is very intentional on dressing appropriately. And one great statement that I heard from a good friend that I've had the chance of working with, uh, great real estate mogul, Ryan Serhant, right? I didn't hear from him first, but he made it stick. Is like you're not dressing for where you are, right? But you're dressing for where you're going. So
I like that.
even though the person that may not be right perfectly financially stable, perfectly has all the financial resources, if you're dressing in the direction that you want to go, you're on the right track, right? If you're
Mm,
the person that may not have as much resources, as much money, much revenue, but you're positioning yourself by dressing to attract that revenue, attract that money and resources, that's what you should be doing because you will eventually attract it, right? It's not necessarily that you need to be ultra wealthy, ultra, and therefore because I dress well, because I'm dressed proper, then that means that everything is financially in order. Absolutely not. But what it does say is that you're positioning yourself for that in any given moment. Because even when you are well, and the individuals that that I have the privilege of engaging with myself is even those individuals that are doing well, that have the financial portion in order, and they have the fashion and the style and the presentation in order, they still want to do better. They still
Mm.
want to do better in the presentation and style factor, and they still want to do better monetarily. So as long as you're positioning yourself to appear and present yourself properly, it will automatically carry over to the financial and economic portion because you always want to continue to do better in all capacity, specifically in money.
Nice, nice. I know that's right. So, Mike, okay, so check it out. So now one thing I want to say too, because we also do live podcasts and we do in Culver
Yeah.
City. And so we got some conversation about having Michael Ferrera come live and
Yes,
give us
sir.
some examples of suits and things like this. That'll be taking place sometime after 2026. But in the meantime, you may want to get some last minute gifts, consultation, whatever else for that loved one out there. So we want to give his website right here at michaelferrera.com now, but is there any other ways that people can communicate with you as well, Mike?
Yeah, and I would say even more specifically, right, getting to the shop component, right, Michael Ferrera dot shop. That would be the
Oh, let's
ideal
put that up
component,
there.
right? And specifically for your show, I've curated a specific website and domain. It hasn't gone live yet, but once you and I coordinate the time frame of launch and all the above, we created a specific website, and it's michaelferrer.com/bird and bees, right? That's
Oh,
the
nice.
right, michaelferrer.com/bird and bees. And that's going to be a place where you can go directly there and get a recap of the show, see the show, and be able to get some of those free gifts and resources that we're going to give directly to your show,
Is
right?
that site up and going right now?
It's
Is
not
it
live yet, but once you and
okay?
I talk, right, it's done. I would say it's done. We built it. It's already set, ready to go. But once you launch, right, and however you want to do it, right, once you launch and publish the podcast, we'll make it live, right?
Okay.
So probably by the time individuals are hearing this, for those individuals that are live, we can make it live, right? But by the time individuals are hearing this, it will be live, sir, and it's live right now.
Okay, awesome. But in the
Yeah.
meantime, we want to go to michaelferrera.shop, right?
That's right, that's shop. And then that's where you can like see, gain some insight of what we do, our philosophy, our beliefs, and how we can bring value directly to you and the people.
Yeah, okay, awesome, awesome stuff. Well, okay, dude. So, what some give us some final thoughts that you want to leave because we want to get out of here. Want
Yeah,
to be
I
for your
appreciate
time.
that, right? And some of my final thoughts that I share with individuals, and I had the opportunity of speaking at some great universities throughout the nation and internationally, a couple of times speaking in Africa as well. But in many of my talks, I often share with people is that it's not just what we're doing right now and the way we're presenting ourselves right now. I believe that when we step out into the world, whether that's on social media or in a workplace or whatever environments, it's important to remember, and especially for brothers and individuals like ourselves, like you and I, it's important to remember that you're not only representing yourself, but you're representing far more than just the person that you are. And let me break that
Mm,
down for you, right? When I step out the door, when I wake up in the morning, right, it's not just me that I'm walking out and representing. When I walk out, I'm a representation of my spouse. Right?
mm.
So how am I presenting myself for her? Right? When I also walk out, I'm a representation of my children. Simultaneously, when I present myself, I'm also a representation of my parents, my grandparents, my great
Hmm.
grandparents. Now, going deeper, I'm also a representation of the people that came before me that allowed me to live in this world with equality.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So when I step out, I'm not here just for Michael, right? I'm here for Dr. King. I'm
Mhm.
here for Malcolm. I'm here for the Rosa Parks. The list goes on, and everybody, right, right. All of these people that came before us, that have positioned us and allow us to be in the same rooms, sit at the same table, eat the same drink, drink the same drink, eat the same food, sit at the same table, serve in the same communities. I'm representing more than just me.
Yeah.
And you can
Yeah.
hear the passion in my mouth, in my talk, because it's
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah.
So when we as African American and brothers and sisters, when we talk out, it's not just us, right?
Right.
We have so much more to be proud of. We have so much more that we represent, right?
Wow.
Dr. King, Rosa Parks, they didn't sit on those buses. They didn't do what they did just for show or to go to jail or prison. They did that for
Mm.
us.
Yeah.
So I could wear this suit, so I could wear this tie, so I could be in this multi-billion-dollar building that I'm in right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
They did it for that. And now us presently, who are we doing it for that comes after us?
Bruh, that is
So
eloquently
so it's
said.
important, it's important to remember when I walk out and when we walk out as brothers
Hmm.
and sisters, and in my opinion, all people, right?
Hmm.
All people. We're not walking out just solely for ourselves. Who
Right.
are we representing far beyond ourselves when we present ourselves to the world?
That's what I'm talking about. Everybody give a big round of applause to Michael Ferrera in the house.
I appreciate you, man.
Man, I'm just telling this is some dope stuff. And again, we want to give out his website address, which is michaelferrer.shop. And last minute gifts, whatever else, or planning for 2026. So you've been listening to Urban Birds and Bees, and today's show was about dress to be desired, how to level up for 2026 with Michael Ferrer. So again, like I said, we'll have some more stuff coming with Mike in 2026. But in the meantime, Mike, thanks for your time, man. Get back to that family
Yeah.
on this Wednesday evening. Thanks everyone for joining us. Please like, subscribe, and follow us on YouTube at Urban Birds and Bees. And you can also follow us on Instagram, and that's _ Urban Birds and Bees. That's _ first and then Urban Birds and Bees. And until next time, I'm Dr. Kerry Neal. Again, telling you, look, don't take it for granted. Get that outfit right. Get that outfit. I mean, it says much more than just clothes you wear. It has all kind of implications, and make sure you watch that paper too. And
Yeah,
he can also give you some insights in terms of how to manage your money as well. And it's the same thing. What's the website for your financial services?
MichaelFerrera.com. MichaelFerrera.com is the key. It'll take you to all the hubs. But I think when we get to that specific website that's deliberately designed for you and your podcast group, that's when we start with it. But MichaelFerrera.com is your main hub.
Okay, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Okay, so again, for Michael Ferrera, I am Dr. Kerry Neal. Next time, everybody, have a good evening.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Yeah.